How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. We got ourselves some Mirage, and we do have ourselves some Amphimon. So we do have a blue unsuspend kind of mirror. The eBay sleeves, and both of them keeping their opening hand. Very, very interesting. See what we got. Also, just so you guys know as well, this is coming out on the Wednesday. I'm going to try and get as much footage as I can edited from this week, but I am down south next week for birthday shenanigans, so I'll be trying to see if we can get the fanboy guys to still record footage whilst I'm there and just try and keep the uploads frequent. But it's possible you might see some like simulator footage or some scrim sessions with my boy Minikill as I try and just make sure that we get frequent footage. Zudo for Zudo. Pretty funny that both of them are kind of just stopping each other from playing on board, and we both know what's about to happen. We're going to see training, looking for that first rookie, and we just aren't finding one. I thought for sure we were going to see Zudo played back to hand, but the problem is, even if he Zudos it, the Zudo into Amphiace would just get Zudo straight back. Because they're both sitting on it, they both basically can't slam bodies on board without getting rid of it. Still no Jellymon, so very unfortunate. I'm assuming the rest of the hand was good. Or this was a mulligan, and I am just Papige. That I am Papige and cut the first shuffle. So game one has been a rough one. Yep, all insecurity. You just hate to see it. We're just gonna keep it nice and simple.
Matrix Digivolution.
What's poppin', tamers? We're back with Player Ammo once again. A bunch of people ask me why I drink Player Ammo, and it's because they sponsor me. Duh. Jokes aside, I actually was drinking Player Ammo before all of that, because I actually don't have much of a sweet tooth, and I find a lot of energy drinks to be too sweet, especially a lot of the powder brands. But the no sugar approach for Player Ammo and their focus on more tart, like sour flavors, really suits my palate. The fruit punch is really just fruity and packs a nice kick. The blue raspberry is really, really nice as well, nice and sour, kind of like when you get those slushies. If you want something a little bit on the sweeter side, there's the strawberry lemonade, which is more strawberry than it is lemonade. And they do have the lemon flavors as well. And I can tell you for a fact that the new black cherry flavor goes foolish. Yeah, the way I mix mine is by getting the dry powder in and then getting a little bit of water in and just mixing it around to try and make a slurry. Then I add up to half the bottle and shake it a baby. All right, this time for realsies, they definitely came with the opening hand. And we're gonna see a Gaogamon into Blue Moon Boost. Also, what do you guys think of the eBay sleeves? They are such a good, it's such a good joke of a sleeve. Liam getting top 4 at the I guess like BT15 side event that was at the last BT13 regional. It was a sponsored eBay Voltex side event. It was BT14 Blast Ace legal. The man came out, only losing to Seth. Picked up some very funny sleeves. I am a huge fan. And it looks like, are we missing a 5 here for H, or is he just not sure whether he wants to play on board? Very expensive Kyoshiro going to come down. But at the very least, the Kyoshiro will make it so if he swings, he can suspend the Kyoshiro in order to get the draw, which means if he pushes out and swings, he's going to be giving an extra memory. You can see him setting out his hand there at a 4 and 2. Next time we are going to see if he can get the draw. Evolve for 3. Going to swing. Both of them going to draw 1. Doesn't use the Kyoshiro? Oh, did both of them drawing 1 force him to be at 8? Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Damn, that sucks. The Thomas actually making him go up to 8 so he can't get the Kyoshiro drop. I guess it might have been better to go for the Mem Soda, which I think is in his hand. He's got like the RB1 like box stopper Kyoshiros and the I know someone in the building did have the double pack Kyoshiro, which again gives like a nice full art. Looks like we are actually going to play the game. At least we're certainly going to attempt to. Gonna have Tetis come down. Gonna trash out 2 sources. Not going to be taking the jamming out because he is taller, and we are going to get the stun onto Gaomon. Card was trashed. from sources. We're going to get some memory dropped. We're going to go Amphi. When Digivolving, it's trash up to 3 to strip sources, and then he's going to drown the Mirage. Although thinking about it, the Kyoshiro is kind of detrimental when there's a Mirage on board, because the draw is going to then trigger the memory gain. So yeah, you're getting the memory gain at start of turn, but you're also getting kind of cooked on the crackback. This Amphi is the one that has protection, still arguably the best Amphi. We're here doing some memory mapping. We do have jamming, so there's no real worry about protection. I'm gonna go for the boost, go to 4, play Jellymon, get the search, and we are gonna find a Tesla off it. We are gonna get the drown because that's no sources. And I'm gonna pitch 3 to get the unsuspend. I'm gonna go Tesla. And the thing I'm slightly worried about is, do we have the protection? The protection's not live anymore. Tetis is going to get the stun onto Thomas to stop him from being able to add cards to hand. But because Amphi is unsuspended, it at least protects Amphi from getting swung over. A nice defensive play here from Harry. And load things up. Going to bounce the 4 back to hand, which then trashes off the sources. But Full Moon Meteor Impact is just going to bounce the Amphi straight away. Unfortunately, gets the stun onto Thomas, but not going to be able to stop it from being used for a burst evo. Gonna swing. We're at 8, so it doesn't get to go for the trash, and we're just gonna end turn with a new Thomas being played down. Push out, strips the bottom source, and becomes unblockable. Gonna go for Amphi Ace, slams it. We are gonna trash some sources. Can trash 3, which trashes 3 and gets the bounce rather than a bottom deck. But still, answering the board. 6 cost removal spell. Actually, much nicer than Great Maelstrom. Although Great Maelstrom, I guess, can also reduce its costs. Ah, there goes the Zudo. Zudo gonna get the overflow. That's the problem. Like, the Amphi Ace is really nice, but the because she sends back to hand, it means that she can't get rid of the Zudo in the way that we'd want to. Ooh, goes for the Mirage, bounces the Tamer. I actually do kind of like the Evade Tamer being used more frequently. It's obviously not the ideal one, but it's still... like, it still gets value. There was a list that used the old BT4 unblockable, sometimes 0 cost Evo roleplay Mirage. That card has not been good for a long time. The unblockable... I mean, it can be relevant, I guess. But it's more, I think they're using it for the cheap Evo. Because you do that and you go into Mirage. Mad cheap. We're going to get full board clear here as we go into the Mirage burst mode. And again, yeah, unfortunately we didn't really get a proper game in game 1. And game 2 has basically been both of them using blue's best board clears. But the problem is, like, both of them are, if you have no sources, returned hands. So you're just kind of returning an option that then returns your option back to back. And in the overflow war, it's going to be worse here, I guess. Like, we're going to slam the Amphi, going to strip, which is going to overflow, and then he knows this is getting bounced back to hand next turn. I'm just going to go Tetris. Yeah, I feel like this is still kind of rough, but dropping the Tetris at least means that there's a potential. It'll bounce the 5 back to hand, which will stop him from taking the security burn, but he's still in pretty dire straits. We know there's a Mirage in hand because it was bounced back there. Although that Mirage bounces Tamers rather than Digimon, so maybe we're set up nicely. Gonna see the Amphi come through as expected. So it looks like we were missing the Mirage that he wanted, or was just accepting that he could give up this stack because he's far enough ahead. He has the memory to play with it. A Zudo into Mirage still represents some sort of value. Both players draw 1 off the Gaomon. Harry's so negative from hand. It's really difficult to play from this situation. Full Moon Meteor Impact. Manages to keep turn. gonna go for a training. Surprised to see Amphi actually stick around. Looking to go for the low end. Strip 1 become unblockable. Gonna take the Amphi. Amphi gonna swing in at 11. One thing to note is even though this was the last week of ban list, chooses not to go for the 4 Buka. Instead, it's just on the 1 Buka, so that's why it's on the P-Yo-Yo, no jamming. Unfortunately, hitting the Full Moon Meteor Impact just means that, yeah, it's just so far behind now, and I think there's very, very little chance that H can come back from this. But at least it kind of got to show what Amphi can do defensively, and how it can still kind of stay in the game if you actually get to play the game a little bit. So, unfortunate, not the best footage out of what we wanted, but I hope you guys still enjoyed what you saw, and if you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll try and keep the footage flowing as best I can whilst I'm down south. And in the meantime, if you want some long-form content, go watch the podcast, and as always, we will see you in the next one.